Hello students, this is the next lecture in the series of lectures on The Vendor of Sweets, a novel written by R.K. Narayan in 1967. We have already discussed the summary and synopsis of the novel. We have discussed the character lists, and now we move up to the themes in the novel Vendor of Sweets. So the first theme which is prevalent into the novel is the conflict between tradition and modernity. So this clash can be understood as the conflict between father and son conflict, between good and evil, and this is largely showcased by means of Jagan and his son Mali. Jagan is the father and Mali is the son. We have already discussed it. And Mali has a desire to go to America, and he eventually goes to America for 3 years to be educated as a writer, and at the novel's close rejects his father's offer to bequeath the family confectionery business and who the Jagan has to his son in good faith. Instead, Mali has a vision of starting a factory to produce writing by means of mechanical machines rather than by hand, a business model of which his father is critical. So, and again, Mali also brings home a Korean American wife whose name is Grace, to whom he is in fact not married. And the very circumstances of their cohabitation is anathema to Jagan's traditional sensibility. So Jagan is traditional, and he runs, as we know, he runs a sweet confectionery shop, and he wants to give it to his son. He wants his son to run the shop, but the son is against this idea. Now the Jagan, the protagonist, is a sweet vendor by profession, as we know, although he is a follower of the Gita in thinking and talker of Gandhian principles, but he indulges in double authority. So he is a kind of double meaning person, and it's a kind of we can say a hypocrite kind of person. He comes to realize that money is evil when he is cheated by his own son. Although at one place in novel we come to know that he also steals for taxes. He also cheats government for taxes. So, but when he is cheated by his own son, he understands that money is the root of all evil. After, when Mali ends up disastrously in prison as a result of driving drunk around Malguri, Jagan has no option, but he opts a Hindu-style renunciation of the world. That is what we call the Sannyasa Ashram. No, Sannyasa Ashram or the Vanaprastha Ashram, going into the forest, leaving the worldly things behind. Bewilderment and retreat to a simpler life. But even here, his ideal of sannyasa is not serious, as he still holds to the purse string. So he wants to pursue everything in his hand, and he leaves everything to his cousin, not to his son, and his business and his house and all. So he wants to pursue, he wants to have a control over things. Next theme in the novel is marriage. Marriage is again one of the most predominant themes of the novel, The Vendor of Sweets. The novel deals with the clash between the traditional and modern concept of marriage. Throughout the novel, we see that the various views about marriage are interwoven into the lives of characters. After the death of Ambika, Jagan's wife, and Mali's mother, both Jagan and Mali have different views on marriage. Her death is caused by Jagan's insistence upon to cure her brain tumor with natural remedies, as Jagan rules over his wife, which is absolutely because their marriage is brought by tradition in the Hindu culture. Okay, a lady who is married to a man works for the man all the time, and the man becomes a lord and the lady a servant, and he rules the whole life. He has the full control of the lady's life. Mali soon realizes the authoritative nature of his father that results in her death. He can never forgive his father for his mother's death. So, in the novel, the traditional wedding is shown as males having authority and dominance over the female partners. But on the other hand, we have another marriage also. Mali gives away the traditional life in India, and he moves to America to study writing. Over there, Mali falls in love with an elegant woman, Grace. Grace and Mali return to India and start living with Jagan. Initially, Jagan thought them to be married, yet when he learns that both are partners and lovers but are not legally married, he was in a great shock. Moreover, he also notices that Grace is not ruled by Mali as he would rule Ambika. To Jagan, this sort of relationship was very different, and in Jagan, who is a man of tradition, he must come to terms of to the changing time, but he could not. So the conflict between the traditional views of marriage and the modern concept of partnership is portrayed in the novel by R.K. Narayanan very successfully. Next theme is the generation gap. Jagan, in his youth, opposes British rule. He sticks to his old conventional and traditional ideas. However, when he is a grown old man, he fails to see his own son sharing the same beliefs as his. The fault is not apparent in the novel, whether it's Jagan's that he adheres to his tradition or the Mali falling or moving with the change. So, Jagan, who has always opposed the British rule, Mali falls, we cannot say a victim, but Mali enjoys living his life according to the Western culture or European culture. Next theme is the clash of cultures. In this novel, the cultures of India, in which Hinduism is traditionally practiced, and the West, represented by America, are placed in direct conflict. Additionally, though Mali's elect wife, Grace, is Korean American, Jagan assumes that she is Chinese, a culture which is equally disparages. Which he equally disparages. Jagan, who is a traditional Hindu, is skeptical of other cultures, while his son embraces them with a view of enriching his own life. That is evidenced by his travel to America, his interest in starting a factory, and his Korean American partner. So, this clash of culture is again a part of the this themes presented by Narayan in the novel, and is presented into the novel very well, very successfully by the novelist. So these themes, the clash of cultures, the clash of traditional and modernity, the different views of marriage so far into the world, and generation gap, they are all discussed into the novel. So these are the themes we have already discussed. So I think we have covered most of the part of the Vendor of Sweet. So this is the end to the series of the lectures on Vendor of Sweet. We'll meet with a new topic into the next lecture. Till then, you can keep watching. You can watch the older videos also on my YouTube channel, and hope you enjoyed it. It's a very interesting novel. Thank you very much.